Rise to pledge allegiance to the flag and the republic, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do I need to read? Okay. Chair will accept the motion to, well, first of all, let me say, this is a meeting of the Charter Township of Brownstown. The regular township meeting, June the 17th, 2024 at 6 p.m. Chair will accept the motion to appoint a temporary clerk.
Motion to appoint Sherry Bariz as temporary clerk.
Motion's been made by Treasurer Eber. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Trustee Allen.
Yes.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Before you have the regular board minute meetings. Oh, I'm sorry. Clerk Breeze, will you call the roll, please? Do the roll call.
We already did.
We already did.
Yes.
Yes.
Purposely. Supervisor Smith,
Present.
the clerk Brinker is excused. Trustee Eberth,
Here.
Treasurer Eberth, Trustee Allen,
You're present.
Trustee Bariz here, Trustee Chapman, Trustee Killian.
Here. Thank you. Trust you've had an opportunity to peruse the regular board meeting minutes of June the 3rd, 2024, and the closed session meeting minutes of June the 3rd, 2024.
To the chair.
Please.
Can you tell me where this item will be going, Ms. Peters? Did we?
Well, we're not there yet. That's after the meeting minute. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'll do a motion to approve the minutes of both. Support.
Okay, a motion's been made by Treasurer Eberth, supported by Trustee Chapman. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda approval.
So, through the chair, where do the documents go in the agenda approval?
I'll make the motion to approve the agenda with 2A being the resolution for the intergovernment agreement. And then the 2B is the actual intergovernment agreement between Wayne County and Brownstown
Support.
for the Brownstown Community Center Revitalization Program. Got all that?
Yes.
And I support it.
Motion made by Trustee Breeze, supported by Treasurer Eberth. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to public forum. If you're wishing to speak, please step to the podium, say your name, and you shall be heard. You'll be allotted 3 minutes.
Good evening, Board.
Good evening.
Kevin Stoltz. I live at 27154 Lily Drive. That's in Springgate. They're in the center section. I haven't come to a board meeting in many years. But once again, it seems like it's always the same type of things. We're having an issue with our detention fountain was installed late April. Worked for about half a day and then passed out. But numerous messages with our recreation level 6th, the 18th, 8th, the 15th, and also June 4th. evening, you assured me that it's being taken care of, makes me feel better about the other residents. And my question is, I would hope that, or my statement is, I would hope that this board would instruct these department heads to first, get the other office, significant amount, to be able to change the voicemail statement around, their email to bounce back statement around, or even have their employees collect that, be able to let you know that they're not available. So you can just feel when you don't hear anything back, that you're still.
And you had called, is it 4 times, Kevin?
Left 4 voicemails.
4 voicemails, and you got,
When I came to pay water bills, I would stop in and stop at the water department. Confirm that I knew already. I knew that they took care of it. No problem. To the water department, make sure nothing changed. And they even called over, confirming that yes, the recreation department is responsible.
and it was a problem?
Still is to this day, but it's been over.
Okay.
So,
And the status you were given is what?
tonight from Brian, about 10 minutes ago, that has been ordered and we will see. The
Okay.
message from the department head was, I don't know what's going on. I'll have to find out. I'm not even sure if there's any money in your special assessment district for it. It doesn't matter. There was not enough money for when they put rocks around their pond 2 years ago. It's tens of thousands of dollars. And it's still a nice work, not being kept up with what it was meant to do as well.
Okay.
I just want to fix. I'm not asking for much, but
Right.
just a little more communication. If we could extend that to everyone for the office.
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
Well, first of all, thank you for coming forward. This board is anxious to hear comments, complaints, so that we can address them. Um, I am surprised at what you're telling me because this person over that department is pretty conscientious. And we'll look into it and see what the circumstances
Appreciate it.
are. But thank you so much for coming in, Kevin. And stay in touch with us, please.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other from public forum? Moving on to the agenda. American Fireworks Company request for Lake Erie Metro Park firework permit for July the 3rd, 2024.
I would make a motion to accept that it does not include us as a co-insurer on the insurance policy that's attached. Isn't that our typical what we ask when they have the insurance?
Well, it includes us as an additional insurer.
Is that on there? I missed that.
Yeah, it is on there. So would your motion,
My motion, if it's on there, is that, and I'll assume it is, I missed it then, is to approve.
I can show it to you. Okay, the motion's been made by Treasurer Ebert, supported by Trustee Chapman. Any discussion?
May I, through the chair?
Please.
I don't see that we're an additional insured. I'm staring at it now. The reason is we don't own the property. And so the ordinance does require that the fireworks permit has to come through us as a board. But that would be true no matter whose property it's on. And so the Metro Park is not owned by the township, and therefore we would not be an additional insured. So if, to put it in another way, if Kroger's or the shopping mall was doing fireworks, we would still get the permit application for review and approval, but we would not be an additional insured if it were the Kroger shopping center, as an example.
So through the chair, where is it, the Metro Park, though? I'm missing that.
That's a separate municipality, and so it's not owned by the township. The
So we
real
don't
estate-
know if they're covered by this insurance policy, is what you're saying?
Well, it wouldn't be our question. If we take an example of Kroger's, for instance, we wouldn't necessarily ensure that the fireworks vendor was properly insured for Kroger's sake. It's But we do have to review the application for the fireworks.
Well, we understand it. What about if our fire department's there and could they be held liable for something goes wrong because we're providing our fire department at this event?
No, we couldn't. It falls within the governmental immunity doctrine. As long as we're functioning in our normal capacity and doing anything short of, heaven forbid, gross negligence, we would not be liable for performing our duties as a fire department.
Council, then is it your opinion that the coverage is superfluous?
For our application purposes, it is that would be a private contract between the Metro Park and the fireworks vendor.
Okay, this does not fall under rise ipsa loquitur?
No, not really, because it's for the basic principle that we're not owners of the property.
Okay,
And just to add a little context, while it may not be necessary, they do list as an additional insured all boards, commissions, board members, employees, volunteers, and list some communities, including Brownstown Township, as well as the Huron-Clinton Metro Park Authority, whether necessary or not.
Okay. Is there any harm in that, attorney, if they're willing to do that?
No, no harm.
Okay, thank you.
that's what I just, yeah.
Thank you.
Where we at? This-
Motion to approve.
Okay. Did you make such a motion?
I did, and then who's the support?
Chapman, okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 2, subrecipient agreement for Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, between Wayne County and Brownstown Township for the term of July the 1st, 2023 through June the 30th, 2025.
Motion to approve.
Motion's been made by Treasurer Ebert, supported by Trustee Chapman. Is there discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 2A.
Sure. Through the chair. So as the board amended, and I appreciate them entertaining this request, 2A is Resolution 2024-07, which is a resolution to approve the intergovernmental agreement between the County of Wayne and Brownstown Township for the Brownstown Community Center Revitalization Project. As this board knows, renovating our community center with the specific goal of updating it, providing safe spaces for our residents and our employees, and building out a dedicated senior space in the building has been a priority for a number of years. We made a lot of progress on that prior to COVID. The project shut down at that point. We revisited it as we got back to work, and the costs had ballooned into something that we were not before then anticipating. Nonetheless, this board in our budget dedicated some funding to try to address this concern. And we were able to put together a basic design that would do a great job renovating the community center. However, to truly do everything that we really need to that community center, additional funding really was necessary and helpful. So at that point in time, the County of Wayne had put out an announcement that they would be doing a program where some of the funding they received from the in ARPA funds for the American Rescue Plan Act would be dedicated toward public projects by municipalities, and we could submit application for funding. So based on that, I submitted an application to Wayne County to participate in this project. We worked with SIDOC, who is the architectural firm who we had retained from the original plans on this building, and they were able to come up with a scope of approximately $4 million to really renovate and transform this building into something that will truly be great for our community. We were able to present in front of the steering committee of the county, pitching this project. And after many months of waiting and hoping, received notification that they will be contributing $2 million toward the project, which is just fantastic amount of money and something that really makes this project something special. So this resolution, similar to other county IGAs, they like to have the approval of the actual intergovernmental agreement. This is a resolution essentially mimicking that approval, but in resolution form and authorizing signatures on the agreement.
I'd motion we accept the resolution. And can I do, to the clerk, can I do and the agreement that corresponds with it, 2A and 2B?
What was the
We
question?
do both in one motion?
You can, but with the, excuse me, I'm sorry, through the chair, through the resolution, when the vote is taken, that in particular is a roll call. So I would say the maker of the motion could be the same, but the way it's adopted by the board is two different ways, two different items.
Does it matter if we do roll call for both?
No, you can always do roll call whenever you
So
want.
I'd say make a motion that 2A and 2B, which is a resolution, and the intergovernment agreement be approved by the board.
Motion's been made by Treasurer Eberth, supported by Trustee Chapman. Any discussion?
Yes, to the supervisor. I'd just like to thank Brian Peters and our supervisor. I'll tell you, every function I've been at where we had a Wayne County representative, both of them had the poor representative surrounded about helping Brownstown financially, right? And I don't want to say, I think it was good that they were cornered. And I do appreciate it. And I appreciate Wayne County. This is a lot of money. You know, they have a lot of people asking for assistance, and pony up $2 million. It's a big deal. So thank you to Supervisor Brian Peters and our Wayne County people for getting us through.
Brian, you're a supervisor now.
Did I call him supervisor?
Yeah.
I said our supervisor and
That's
Brian
okay.
Peters.
But Mr. Peters was very helpful in this. And let me say, Brian, the first time they told you that it wasn't sexy enough, and we asked, how do you make a senior center sexy?
Well, we've certainly had a lot of discussions with the county on what types of projects they'd like to see, and they certainly told me what they thought would work or wouldn't work. I'll leave it at that.
Any further discussion? I know. Clerk Breeze, will you call the roll, please?
Smith,
Yes.
Killian,
Yes.
Barish, yes. Eberth,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Brinker, excused, Chapman,
Very well. Motion carries. Thank you. Item 3, department reports. Head Supervisor, Human Resources approved personal service contract renewal for Police Chief Jeff Watson.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Motion's been made by Treasurer Ebert, support by Trustee Killian. Discussion, please.
This is a 3-year contract?
No, it should be a 3.
Should be 2.
2.
Oh, it's 3 increases over.
Am I looking at this right?
No, it's a 2-year, but that's 3 increases. One's right now when the contract goes into effect, 2024.
Very good.
Yeah,
Very good. I missed that.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's okay.
very good.
So there's, for the record, there's 3 increases, but one's effective the contract date and then the 2 years follow.
Motion's been made and supported. Any further discussion? Clerk reads. Chair is calling for roll call vote, please.
Chapman.
Yes.
Brinker, excused. Eberth,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Killian,
Yes.
Barish, yes. Smith.
Yes. Motion carries. Item 2, Human Resources. First Amendment to Personal Services Contract for Senior Citizen Coordinator Cindy Sawyer relating to Department of Labor wage increase.
Motion to approve.
Motion's been made by Treasurer Ebert, support by Trustee Chapman. Any discussion, please? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Under Clerk Report, Board Information.
Motion to read and file.
Motion's been made by Treasurer Ebert, read and file.
Support.
Support by Trustee Killian. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Under Treasury Report, disbursements for the meeting of June the 3rd, 2024.
June 17th.
Says June the 3rd.
I know they did a,
Typo was updated.
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah, it's okay.
It should be on. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Correction, disbursements for meeting June the 17th, 2024, in the amount of $1,854,172.87.
Motion to approve.
Motion's been made by Trustee Killian to approve. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Trustee Chapman. Any discussion? Clerk Barish, will you call the roll, please?
Eberth,
Yes.
Barish, yes. Killian,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Chapman.
Motion carries. Item 2, Board Information.
Motion to read and file.
Motion's been made to read and file by Treasurer Ebert,
Support.
supported by Trustee Chapman. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Item D, Community Services Department. Board Information.
Motion to read and file.
Motion's been made to read and file by Trustee Killian. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Trustee Chapman. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. E, Recreation, no report submitted. F, Public Works, approve the purchase of a Shelter Pro software for animal shelter in the amount of $8,967.
69.
$69. Sorry.
Motion to approve.
Software for the animal shelter.
Motion's been made by Trustee Chapman.
Support.
Did I hear support? Trustee Allen? Any discussion on this? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 2, approve to convert vacant laborer position to water specialist and post and advertise as necessary.
Motion to approve the conversion of vacant labor position to water specialist and advertise.
Support.
Motion's been made by Trustee Chapman, supported by Trustee Allen. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Township manager update, please.
Good evening, board members again. A couple things I wanted to mention. One, earlier in this agenda, we approved a increase for an employee based on some changes to Department of Labor wages. Just something to keep in mind. This is something where there are additional increases proposed in the future. So specifically relating to salaried positions where the Department of Labor is setting a minimum salary that has to be offered without offering overtime and other types of benefits. So at this point, this was the only employee that the change that takes effect at the end of this month affected. But it's possible that in future years, even at the end of this year, it'll be something else we have to revisit and something we'll certainly have to keep in mind as we look at all of our positions. So just wanted to put that out there, make sure you understood that, and something that we'll keep an eye on, and hopefully we can stay on top of as we move forward. Something else that is on this agenda here that I guess I wanted to take note of. So we converted a vacant labor position into a water specialist position. This is something we've done previously, and something that was in specific response to trying to incentivize the certification for operating our water and stormwater programs here at the township. There's obviously been a lot of attention over the last few years to water systems around the state, to what we can do to make sure we're providing quality water, making sure people are healthy on the stormwater side, making sure we're keeping people healthy, we're protecting the environment. So going back a few years, this board will remember we reached a point in time where we only had one employee with any water or stormwater certification. And it was something that we made a point of emphasis to pursue within specifically our water and sewer department. And I wanted to report just in those few years, this has paid off. We have now, going from that one individual, we now have on the water side, I think we have 11 employees in total that now have some sort of certification. 9 of which are water certifications and 2 of which are stormwater related certifications. So it's something that really is, a testament to hard work of our employees in our DPW. We have one of them here this evening that is one of those certificate holders. And it really shows that we are working hard within that department to show the public that we're maintaining our best practices and the standards that we need to be able to act on in order to provide high quality water and adequate stormwater services. So wanted to highlight that. Thank DPW for all their hard work. And, it's something that really shows when it's higher expectations from employees, but also puts out a better product to our residents. And happy to see the buy-in in the department, and hopefully that continues to just keep improving our services in that department. Secondly, I wanted to mention at our last meeting, I mentioned a donation we received for the animal shelter that was very helpful. Coming back again to announce another donation we received to the animal shelter that I think is noteworthy. In this one, Home Depot came through and donated a commercial dryer that was needed in our animal shelter. So I wanted to specifically thank Home Depot, but also wanted to specifically recognize one of our longstanding volunteers in the animal shelter, Mary Gregory, who really was the one who pulled this together with Home Depot. So we're very happy to receive the donation. It's going to be helpful within that shelter. And, Mary does a great job with everything she does. And this is just another piece of that to add to her contributions to the animal shelter. So thank you, Mary.
Yay, Mary.
And lastly, obviously, as everybody walked in here, you may have noticed it's kind of hot outside. Right now, we have obviously the National Weather Service issued an excessive heat warning that lasts essentially from right now until Friday evening. So it's something that we talk about, but I think it's something worth reiterating that in response to this, the township has designated the Brownstown Community Center as a cooling center for any residents that need to get out of the heat. And it'll be open and available 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. We'll keep an eye on the weather conditions and adjust as needed. But something that we can offer to our residents to make sure that if anybody is without adequate cooling, that they have a place they can go to be safe. And just also a general reminder to take care of your neighbors, especially any sensitive groups, senior citizens, to make sure they're healthy and safe during this time. And with that, it completes my report.
If I'd like to piggyback on what you were saying, um, attending DUA meetings with Ms. Fairchild, her knowledge and understanding is quite impressive. When you think in terms of waste management, it's like the drain meeting we went to the other night, Brian. I think about that like toilet paper. I didn't think about toilet paper till we had a pandemic. These are the kind of things that you don't give consideration to until they break. But then when they break, it's a big deal. But I want to thank you personally for your dedication, your knowledge in that area. I was in awe, really. So thank you very much.
And to the supervisor too, we have the Brownstown magazine that came out and it talked about the certification of the police department, this last edition, which is a big deal. But the certification of our employees in public works, that's a big deal. I mean, we know it is. And I think people, you get the lead results and all the other testing they do and how safe our drinking water is. We might want to get something like that in the edition. So people, let's toot our horn. That's big stuff. And I know people do look at that magazine, so they'll see that it's not a static department. It's always striving to improve. So, along that line, I think we should toot their horns in the magazine.
Any further discussion, please?
Through the chair, Mr. Peters, not to put you on the hot spot. Quite a while ago, the board approved laptops. I believe it was through the ARPA funds. What's the update on that?
Sure. So we, as part of our IT refresh, we had purchased new servers, new computers, including, I believe, were tablets for the board. We had a slow time deploying the servers. The servers have now been deployed in this building. I know we just made a large purchase of computers to complete that part of it and have begun deploying the computers. So I know it's on the list. At the time when we met, we sort of set out the priorities, starting with the servers because we couldn't deploy the computers until the servers were upgraded. And we've been trying to replace employee computers, but it's still certainly on the list, but obviously have not been deployed yet.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion?
Mr. Peters, the projects and property ID, any update on these that we have a listing for here? Mainly those from 22. I understand the PUD on the Hampton Square, but there's some others there that concern me.
So looking at, and you're referring to the development report that Community Services
Yes, sir.
put out? Those particular ones, at least the ones from 2022 that you reference, are all plans that were submitted that either needed additional action or that the township requested updated plans to comply with ordinances that have not been turned back in. So, obviously, in order to proceed, these would need additional action from the applicant. At some point, the application is no longer active. But at this point, that's where those stand.
Any further discussion?
And I'm sorry, sir.
Please go ahead.
Mr. Peters, and can you tell me about any follow-up on any of these and what actions are going to be taken?
I guess it would depend on the specific project. I mean, with some of these, it's, just for example.
There's
Yes.
one coming up with an expiration of 6/25,
Sure.
which is George's or Callis's there, the car lot. And that's been lingering for some time, but yet I see no movement on it. But I do see a date. So on the 25th, I'll be in your office to find out what's the status there, because he's dragged this out for quite some time. Um, I understand he has a business to run. He's running a business, but the continued dragging it out is a eyesore for the community if we are making plans to move forward with the master plan as well as the telegraph project.
Certainly, and the reason for the deadline is for that particular reason.
And will this be updated? Because I see that Wild Gas Station was denied, so we might want to take that off our list, or uh, are we going to keep that on the list for them to come back at a later time?
I think the reason it's still on there, they were denied for their zoning, their variances at ZBA. They still have an active application, although now it would need to be significantly revised in order to comply with our ordinance. So I guess until they withdraw it or until it expires, we leave it on there, awaiting them if they'd like to come in and revise their plans to, um, in relation to the denials they received at ZBA.
Any further discussion? Hearing none.
Motion to move to the closed session with to consider collective bargaining negotiations with update for the IAFF.
Motion's been made to go into closed session. Support. By trustee Chapman. Killian. Supported by trustee Killian. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Please.
We need a roll call vote, please.
Oh, sorry. Clerk Breeze, we call the roll, please.
Smith,
Yes.
Killian,
Yes.
Chapman,
Yes.
Eberth,
Yes.
Barish, yes. Allen.
Go into closed session.
kicking game, the field goal part to this game down. And I think that's some of the reasons why he signed. Badgley got the 2-year contract. So now that's why I think that's the reason why he's gone out and got it's called the Bigfoot. Bigfoot base. There you go. How about that? What's your thoughts on that?
I think it was a very smart move that they went ahead and signed Jake Bates. I was at that opening game when it was the Panthers versus Battlehawks, and it's not
Okay, we don't need a roll call.
No.
Motion to close the closed session.
Support.
Motion's been made by trustee Chapman to close session, supported by treasurer Eber. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Motion to,
Opposed?
motion to adjourn.
Yes. Motion to adjourn. Right,
We did that.
we did that.
No motion to return.
No, we're going home.
Motion to close the memo.
Motion adjourned, yeah.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Support.
Motion been made by trustee Chapman to adjourn,
Support.
supported by trustee Allen. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, aye, aye.
We're getting punch drunk.